man. I do what I do.
At no point will America be a white country. At no point was it ever a white country, irrespective of the delusion of the so-called founding fathers. Many of them had fathered children from women who weren't white because that was all that was available. Women died young at childbirth. And so as a practical matter, you have a lot of so-called white people who have mixed heritage. Now, they may never admit it, but if the typical white American who's been in this country for any number of several generations, he or she will have Latino or what we call indigenous, African, or Asian DNA, somewhere 8%. I think the typical white person has about 8% sub-Saharan African DNA in this country. So, you know, it's a delusion. But I say all that to say, you know, overt racism is going to cause people to have to wake up and have to pick a side. And so when you have people like Nick Fuentes being overtly racist, setting up a racially charged environment, it's going to get some pushback. Now, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy, but it is what it is. Now, if I can tie all this together, you have people like Nick Fuentes and you have people like, you know, they use Donald Trump as an agent of chaos. Donald Trump and the whole group of people that support him, they see him as a sledgehammer in a china shop, and they want to see things destroyed because the system doesn't work for them. And as far as black men, brothers, you know I love you. I'm an advocate for black men. I have been an advocate for black men since 2010 when I began speaking on behalf of black men using, at that point, my social media page, Facebook. And then at a certain point around 2016, 2017, I migrated over to some other social media. And then by the time 2000 showed up, I made my way to YouTube. I'm an advocate for black men. Because of the racially charged climate that we live in right now, I broadened that advocacy to foundational black American people in general. But at my core, I'm still an advocate for black men. And what I may suggest to you all at this particular juncture is that we do not reap any benefit from watching black women suffer, even if they have to suffer because of their poor decisions in relying on the government, thinking that the government, the same government that legalized slavery and American apartheid in the form of Jim Crow and the mass incarceration system and had a hand in flooding the black community with dope and dividing the black family. Even though they were foolish for believing the American government, they're still our family, literally and figuratively. Black women suffering, black children suffering does nothing for us as a group of men. It might make you feel good to see them suffer, but as far as our public image, it does not do us any benefit. And it makes us look petty if we take to the internet and gloat in their pain and suffering. I asked you, brothers, several years ago, are you ready to step over the bodies? And many of you looking at me right now on this broadcast where I'm live, remember that conversation. Are you ready to step over the dead bodies? Not dead bodies, but are you ready to step over the bodies? And I mean homeless people, children. Are you ready to deal with the phone calls from your female relatives and their children, your favorite nephew, your favorite niece? They're going to be homeless. Are you going to let them live with you? What about your child's mother? She's homeless. You're going to let your children live in a homeless shelter? Are you ready to step over the bodies? And that's what I meant by that. And literally, there will be a lot of homeless people. If you don't have anything to eat, you don't have anywhere to stay, there's really nowhere else to go. At some point, people will try to find a way for themselves. They might have to get back together with some family members they fell out with. But when that falls out and doesn't work, what do? They're eventually going to give you a call because people follow the resources. But after I asked you the questions, are you ready to step over the bodies, I also noted that most of you black men are far too compassionate to let the people that you care about, irrespective of their transgressions against you, you're too caring and loving to let these people suffer. And I can see you opening up your homes and your apartments and utilizing your resources to try to save them, from the consequences of their poor decisions. And I trust that that will happen. Of course, there are some men who are they're here for the chaos, and I pray that the Most High give them wisdom and guidance. But I would think that there is a strong percentage of black men who are willing to provide some sort of aid and comfort to people who've made poor decisions, because it may be your mother, it may be your sister, it may be an ex. And at the end of the day, those women are the women that came from the same wombs that you came from. They're the women that gave birth to you. And it serves you no purpose as a man to watch them suffer, at least not in the eyes of the world. The world is going to be looking at you and see how you handle this. Are you going to handle this situation with grace and dignity? Or are you going to be as petty as the black women who you're angry with? Because let's not forget, the minute the federal government and these state governments gave black women a few dollars in the form of Section 8 and welfare and EBT, they literally turned their back on black men and said, hey, I don't need a man. The minute you got a government subsidy and a scholarship set aside so that you can go to one of these Ivy League colleges, you said, I don't need a man anymore, he's beneath me. That's what you said, ladies. And you might as well deal with that. This is why black men are angry. Because when you were able, when the government made you able to, quote unquote, take care of yourself, not only did you gloat about it, but you then said, you don't need a man. There's only one group of women on this planet known for the statement, I'm strong, independent, and don't need a man. It's not women in Tibet. It's not women in Sri Lanka. No. It's black American women. And so, but I ask you brothers to be bigger than that. I ask you not to be as petty as they were. Show your grace, show your humanity. Show the rest of the world why the Most High God decided you to make the first human being ever created on the planet, a black man, according to my Holy Bible. And that being the case, I thank you all. I hope you all understand that, I said all this from a place of love and understanding. We can't continue to live in chaos, fellas. As much as you want to see destruction, it does not benefit you for chaos to happen. And it does not benefit anybody in society for there to be homeless and homeless women and homeless children. What does that say about America if we have rampant homelessness of women and children? It says that we're a poorly run nation. And what does that say about the black nation when we have a bunch of homeless women and children running around? It says horrible things about us as men and as the adults in general, not just the women who made the decision to put themselves in a position where they could have the rug snatched out from under them by a hostile federal government.